hello again everybody. I hope that you can see me and hear me okay. I know I sometimes screw up a little bit with camera angles and distances and things like that. But the main thing is to get my message across. I'm not too worried about whether you can see the entire top of my head or whatever. Anyway, this one is not a rant. It's, if anything, the opposite. And I suppose I might start with explaining myself a little bit. Earlier today, I've already put the video on YouTube, but earlier today, we've got very rough weather here at the moment, and earlier today I went out on the Trials Cub replica in some rain and wind, and we went round the lanes. It didn't go far, it was only a couple of miles right round. There's bits of trees down in the road here and there, and it got worse later on actually. A couple of the main roads around here were closed with trees down on them and possibly accidents, I'm not quite sure, but my father called me a nutter for going out in it on this, but I'm not a nutter, and there was a reason for me doing this, and this is what I'm coming to actually now. Riding motorbikes and enjoying motorbikes isn't or needn't be just about sunshine and blue skies and riding into the horizon with the sun on your back. It's nice to do that, don't get me wrong, it is very enjoyable, but there's also a lot that can be gained from riding in atrocious weather. And perhaps I'm a bit of a nutter, I don't know, I put my hands up, perhaps everyone thinks I am. I don't think I am, but I enjoyed myself. I wouldn't want to have been out all day in that sort of weather on a bike, although years ago I used to do that because I was very late doing my driving test, and I wasn't interested in driving cars. In fact, I just did my driving test because a test was £14 and a lesson was £14. So I'll just book a test and see what happens, and I passed. So that was that. But I'm not really interested in four wheels, although it's nice not to get cold and wet all the time. But until I was about 25 or 26, everything I did was on a motorbike, and one epic ride was, I think it was about 60 miles I did from work back to where I was staying at the time, and I wanted to carry a Christmas tree home, and I did it on a Honda 175, and we were in about 3 or 4 inches of snow I think, and just put a bit of rope over the tree from butt to tip, and I hung it over my shoulder, and I rode the little Honda about 60 miles and carried this 5-foot Christmas tree back to where I was going. So, you know, we adapt. We all do things we look back on and think, oh, you know, I wouldn't do that now, too old and sensible or whatever, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I lived through all that, and I did all sorts of things on motorbikes which I can look back on and think, yeah, I did that, and you know, I enjoyed that, and I'm glad I did. And that brings me to what I did today earlier on the this little Tiger Cub here. Now, it might look completely daft to some, going out in all that rain and wind and bits of branches on the roads and whatever, but something inside me made me want to do that. And one of those things is the fact that the bike was available, it was running, it had fuel in it, I was available and in working order as well. Now, this is what I'm coming to. None of us are getting any younger, none of us will, and a lot of us, or I will in many cases, think that I might want to do something. It's a bit cold, it's a bit wet, I'll leave it, I'll do it another time. But how do we know that we've got another time? What I did today, I actually thoroughly enjoyed it, believe it or not. I am really glad that I did it, and that's why I'm sat here now sharing this with you, because I'm thinking New Year's Eve is coming up. We've just had Christmas, Boxing Day was yesterday, and before you know it, we'll be having the New Year's resolutions and New Year, New Me and all that. Oh yeah, I'm going to lose myself 4 stone and I'm going to, you know, get fit and go to the gym. And, well, yeah, okay, if you can do that sort of thing and you want to do that sort of thing, that's great. I probably won't be making any New Year's resolutions myself because I'm quite sort of content with where I'm at the moment, actually. But here's a thought. Anyone that thinks that they might want to go for a ride, whatever the weather's doing, or you know, if your bike's available and you feel like doing it, and then you sort of think, actually no, it'll keep. Well, the only thing that we're guaranteed, really, is now. Be nice if we get tomorrow, but that's not a given. I hope most of us, if not all of us, will see tomorrow. I mean, you know, it's a natural thing that perhaps not everyone will, but let's not go there and dwell on that. But while we're here, there's things we want to do, let's do them. And like this one here, this spent 30 years over in an naughty corner because it had a problem, and I only recently, really, perhaps not quite a year ago, can't remember when it was now, but not that long ago, got it fixed. And since then I've been making up for lost time, and I love this bike and I enjoy riding it, and it puts a smile on my face every time I go out on it, even when the rain is horizontal and we've got 70-mile-an-hour gales of wind blowing in our face. I'm happy on it, and it was a bit of an adventure today, so I'm on a high from that, and I'm just trying to say, I suppose, if you've got a bike in the corner that's not finished, or perhaps it's all in boxes waiting to be put together or whatever, or you're going to restore it one day when you've got time, please do it now. Restore that bike now, make a start on it. If it's only a matter of putting fuel in it and a battery on it and maybe a few legalities, I don't know, tax, MOT, whatever you might have in your country, but it's there and you want to ride it, please, while you're fit and able to do so, hopefully do it. Because that's another thing. A lot of my videos that I made, in fact, one of the main reasons that I started making them, there were a few, but one of the reasons I've ramped up the videos recently and the rides and whatever, and that is a little bit of a selfish thing, because a lot of my own bikes are featured in them, and I've got more of my own bikes on the road now than I probably ever had before. And the reason for that, quite simply, is I don't know, I hope I've got plenty more time, but I don't know how much more time I've got, or how much more time I've got where I'll be able to ride them. So if the worst came to the worst and for whatever reason I was unable to ride anymore, at least I could perhaps hopefully sit in my comfortable chair and put the telly on or the computer or whatever and enjoy those bikes again. And that's there hopefully for keeps. And it's all just sort of brought it home to me after, well, I wouldn't say a health scare, but I've had things going on with my back and my legs and stuff, and some days it's not very comfortable to ride a bike, and I perhaps won't if I'm too achy or slow or stiff or whatever, but then I get better days and I'm alright. But just in case something happens and I can't ride those bikes anymore, at least I'll be able to say, ah well, I want to enjoy the little Tiger Cub today, I want to enjoy the Trident, I want to enjoy the Honda 500, whatever. I can sit down, press a button, and that's it, I'm back on those bikes. Happy days. But also, it sort of brought it home to me that if you've got anything that you think, oh yeah, I'll fix that up, I'll get it sorted or whatever, don't hang around for too long, because like I said, it took me 30 years, and all this thing actually needed was a battery. It ran, it powered its own lights, it had everything without a battery. But there was a problem which I've spoken about before, and perhaps will do again, but we won't go there now. But basically, just an idea popped into my head, ping, let's try putting a battery on it. I put a battery on it, it's been great. If I put a battery on it 30 years ago, just imagine. But it's never too late. But when I put a battery on this at the time, it was now. And I haven't stopped enjoying this little machine ever since. So please, if you're thinking of making New Year's resolutions for yourselves and you don't know what to promise yourself, whatever it is, whether it's riding your bikes, fixing your bikes, perhaps going swimming or learning to swim, whatever it might be, just please go and do it. Do it now while you can, because all we have is now. That's the only given and the guaranteed. Hopefully we'll have tomorrow. Hopefully we'll have a load of tomorrows. And when it comes, Happy New Year. But please, just take on board what I'm saying here, and if you got that little thing and you just need that little nudge to do it, perhaps I've hopefully given you that little nudge. Once again, in a couple of days' time, Happy New Year.